All right, welcome back to another episode of Side Note, the podcast dedicated to underground electronic dance music and all things related. As always, I am your host, Nick, and with me this week is house DJ extraordinaire, Blanc Mamba.
Such praise.
Welcome, welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Pleasure to have you. So, you kind of alluded to coming in. There was a long night last night, and that's actually a good segue because, most guests who come on, I like to open the show with kind of tell me about your weekend because, it's like a good cross-section into your life as an artist. So
okay, cool.
What was last night and what's in store for the rest of the weekend?
Last night was supporting another collective called Techno DJ.
Okay.
So they throw really cool underground parties, house and techno. And I think I got there like around 1 and I left there at like 8 this morning.
Whoa. So okay.
I haven't slept.
After hours status.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for making it here despite the little sleep.
I know, it comes with the territory.
Yeah, I don't think we here can tell that you have slept little. So
the glasses.
Wait, so did you play last night, or was it just to come out and support?
Mostly to come out and support, but usually if you hang around long enough at the end of the party, when the DJs get tired, they'll just kind of give you the little head nod. They'll be like, yo, you want them to jump on them? Like, they're exhausted.
Right. So were you able to get in on that last night or this morning?
No, last night.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what about the rest of the week? Do you have any other gigs or anything in store this weekend? Or, I mean, if I were you, I'd probably...
Actually,
you do? Okay.
So tonight I'm playing Los Globos. It's going to be called the Big Gay Party.
Nice.
And it's like a 90s, 2000s vibe.
Okay.
And then I'm trying to set up this afters that starts at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, so Sunday morning. So that's in the works right now, trying to just like tie all the knots. And then I play later tomorrow night, Sunday night, I play at 4 a.m. Or Monday morning, I play at 4 a.m.
Holy shit.
So we got like 3 gigs in the next 48 hours potentially.
Yeah, and probably 3 hours of sleep as well for the next 48 hours, I feel like.
If I'm lucky.
Yeah. That's insane. Also, I feel like the after hours is probably going to be like quite an interesting scene. Like, have you done that before, or will this be kind of the first time?
I've usually only played at that time when we like do the desert parties.
Okay.
Like when we go to the desert, at that time I always ask for is like sunrise.
Okay.
So I have one coming up actually. I'm gonna do a 3-hour sunrise set.
Nice. What party is that for?
Social Desert.
Okay.
Yes.
I feel like I've heard of that one. I mean, I feel like I've heard of all of them. I guess doing this show, I hear about a lot of parties. It's hard to keep track of, though.
A plethora of parties.
Yeah. Especially this day and age, like this post-COVID. Society is crumbling, but at least, there's good parties out there.
Still the spirit's a party.
Yeah.
Actually, the more society like devolved, I think the more partying is going to increase.
It's true. Like, I feel, the worse society gets, the sicker the parties do as well.
That's right. There has to be harmony.
So, I guess I was telling you before we started rolling that I listened to one of your sets on SoundCloud and, was really impressed at sort of the quality of the house music. Because there's a lot of shitty house music out there. But yeah, I really enjoyed what you're putting down. So I guess to that, talk to us about kind of your DJ journey and, how you found the music, how you found DJing, what it means to you, et cetera.
Well, when COVID started prior to COVID, I was living my life presenting as male.
Okay.
And I was a modern contemporary dancer. That's like what I did full time.
Interesting. So this so recent, like 2020, or 2019.
Right.
Okay.
So I started transitioning in February 2020.
Okay. Like just before COVID. Okay.
Yeah. Like as the onset of COVID was happening. So I went from like doing like 6 to 7 hour like days of dancing and like being this very binary world to not moving my body at all, then like transitioning. and just really wanting to tap into like an artistic facet of myself and not having access to any dance studios. You know, like I was starved for something, so I started DJing. Like I think I was just gonna do it for fun, and like one thing led to another, and now it's become my whole life.
Okay, wow. So I mean, that's also like, I think, as many of the guests that I've had come on, you know, it's a similar trajectory in terms of kind of COVID sort of being kind of a catalyst for creative, you know, like rebirth, or in your case, you know, a whole like personal rebirth. So I guess, you know, once you kind of, well, I guess there's a lot of kind of competing tracks here. I guess number one, you know, in terms of transitioning into a woman, like what sort of precipitated that, and, you know, did it intersect with the music at all, or was it kind of independent?
I mean, like, yeah, definitely like what you go through and what you feel like influences your taste and your style. But I guess like for the most part, they were like independent, but like they still have like an influence on each other. That's not to say that like my favorite DJ is Honey Dijon.
Right.
Like she's mother, like she's a trans DJ. She's out of Chicago, just like me, you know.
Shout out to Honey Dijon.
Yeah.
Did you go to her show? I think
she's like my dream back to back. Like if I can go back to back with anybody, like it'd be her.
Okay.
Hands down.
And then, so were you into the music before your transition, or did you kind of discover it at the same time?
I actually originally came out to LA to do music.
Okay.
But I was doing like screamo bands and stuff. I was like doing audio engineer work, and like I was always into electronic music and raving since high school, but it was just like participatory, like just for dancing. Like never thought I'd be like a DJ. Like I was really fixated on like wanting to be a part of a band, like being the singer of the band. But dealing with like all those egos and people's schedules and such, like I found myself wanting to get back into music, and this just seemed like the easiest facet to like do it for. Like I just have to worry about me. It's so like quick and accessible too. Like who doesn't have a playlist of like their favorite songs? Just like mash them up. It's just instant gratification, honestly.
Got it. And then, so what about house music in particular? I mean, is that what you play? Because I mean, that was the mix that I listened to, but I don't know.
Yeah, I do a mix of house and techno, depending on my mood.
Okay. And then I guess in terms of kind of like navigating both of those, you know, how did you kind of find the sound that resonated with you? I mean, aside from, you know, like Honey Dijon.
I think I just, it wasn't like a very specific quality. It was just songs that would make me feel a certain way. Like you ever have those moments like when you're like on a dance floor and you kind of like, you're like in the thick of like whatever it is that you're processing that night, and like you look around the dance floor and like time kind of slows down. Yeah. Everything's very euphoric and the music's just kind of like driving along, and like there's multiple tracks going. I just really like honed in on that feeling. So I really gravitated towards tracks that were kind of psychedelic leaning or minimal or driving, but still had like a character. You know, it can be like so many different things because there's so many different styles of house, but at the end of the day, the only songs that end up adding to what I play for people are songs that when I hear, I'm like, wow, this is like an amazing song. If it's a good song, it probably won't make the cut. But like if I hear, I'm like, this is something very different. Like I immediately add it to my sets.
And I also feel like one of the kind of like special joys of, you know, DJing and playing out is like hearing the shit that you like on a giant system too, right? Like
most definitely.
And there's also sort of like you'll listen to those tracks where it's like it doesn't sound that exciting, you know, like on your laptop or whatever, but you might kind of have a sense that like, oh, on a system this will be like
it's gonna slap.
Insane. Yeah. It's like a weird filter you have to put on, like, oh, this might not pass the cut now, but you know, if I put on the major sound system filter, what does it sound like? So I guess, you know, like, I guess going back to, you know, this, I mean, so I can't imagine what a strange time it must have been for you, you know, kind of transitioning as a person in a time when everything was fucked. Like, you know, like a killer virus is
transition within transition.
Yeah. It's like you know, Russian dolls, right? It's like a thing within the thing within the thing. And, you know, that's not a statement about, you know, global events right now. But I guess, you know, like take us to that period, right? Because there's a lot of uncertainty around like whether or not society is going to be around because of like this killer virus. You're going through, you know, like a pretty major personal change, as well as like starting kind of the launch of your musical career. So I feel like there's probably so much going on there that you could talk about.
I guess, in the sense of like my transition, I was just tired of compromising like who I wanted to be. Like one of my like biggest mantras is like there's power in authenticity.
Yeah.
And like I deeply, deeply believe that. And like I said, like music kind of just started out, at least at this time in my life, as being something therapeutic or something I can do like during all this craziness. So I didn't even think of it as like the beginning or a continuation or anything of my music career. Just was like something I wanted to do and like give back.
Got it.
So like for me, like DJing is like a very like giving, you know, it's like expressive and giving for me. Like I put a lot of like intention and thought into like what I'm going to bring to a party and like how I want to make people feel. And like I would pay attention to like listen to like what the crowd needs in that moment or like see how they're reacting to it, you know? So it's like a give and take. It's like this whole, I feel like when I picture in my mind when I'm DJing, like there's like this cycle of energy that's like flowing through me, like through the music into the crowd and then back into me.
Dig it. Sound like a
Did I answer the question?
No, I mean, yes, you did. But I was going to say, like, I definitely vibe with, you know, energy and kind of the whole kind of like spirituality thing. So you're speaking my language. And I guess in terms of, you know, starting your career, how did that kind of evolve? So I know that you're saying that, you know, it was more just wanting to do something as, you know, for creative expression. But you've been playing out a lot, and I know that, you know, you mentioned you're in the same collective as Lavenge. Shout out to Lavenge.
Shout out Lavenge. Yeah, he runs our collective Jupiter.
What's it called?
Jupiter.
Okay.
So.
And are you guys kind of open format, you know, like his style, or?
I mean, like generally, like our whole vibe for Jupiter is open format because we have hip hop artists that like are also a part of our collective.
Got it.
And occasionally, like we bend genres, and Lavenge is a multi-genre like DJ. I mostly stick to house and techno.
Okay.
Like I like my area.
That's where I'm at. Yeah.
So, but like we're open to like other music styles too.
Okay. And so how did you like get in with them, and, you know, where did that start?
So my friends, like I would just go out to the parties with her. And this was like all during COVID. So it was like, hush hush, we're not supposed to like be out with our mask off alone, like throwing parties and stuff. And she like put me up, she like recommended me for one of these gigs. And it seems like ever since that like first gig, like I've just been booked every single weekend. I don't want to say it was like effortless, but like it just steamrolled into something much bigger, or like shaping up to be much bigger than what ever anticipated it to be. And then Lavenge saw me play a few afters, you know, one time, and he really liked my style, so he kept bringing me back. Like he started doing like a ladies' night with like all female DJs, and like just booked me consistently for it. And like from there, our relationship just kind of organically grew. Because honestly, it's funny because he's definitely not the type of person I would have thought like I would consider someone to be my best friend.
Right.
It's like we're actually very, very different. But you know, with the same passion, you know, and like life path, I feel like.
Oh, so are you your BFF with Lavenge?
I would consider one of my best friends.
Okay. So extra shout out to Lavenge.
Someone very close to my heart.
Awesome.
He's like a brother to me.
Awesome. Yeah, like super interesting, especially kind of musically, right? Because, you know, he's more of like an open format dude. I mean, from what I've gathered, like you're pretty like rave.
I do like the underground style. He reminds me of like this like a ratchet club meets like underground kind of in between. That's like how I describe which he loves, you know, he owns that.
Yeah, I mean he plays at like Bootsy Bellows, like, you know, like real like club atmosphere.
Yeah, I actually did a set for them once.
Oh, awesome.
It was actually one of my more frustrating sets because they were very specific about the type of music,
Right.
and how they wanted the progression to go. And like me, like having my heart so deeply in the underground and that sound was like different to play much more like vocal, I guess some would call like EDM leaning tracks, so like more top 40 like type tracks too.
So did you, I guess you had to play along then?
I did, you know, it was a learning experience. And like, would I play for them again? Like, honestly, yeah, it was cool playing in like that kind of atmosphere and club. It definitely like warrants its own like benefits, and like it was overall a positive experience. But I think I'm always my happiest when I get to like express myself freely through my music.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I definitely relate to that because, I mean, I don't gig out much, but I do remember, especially like, you know, in my 20s, I would get a lot more offers like, oh, you DJ? Like, come play at this and come play at that. And there would always be like a very like specific sort of parameter over like to your point about what they wanted. To where eventually I just like would turn shit down because I was like, dude, I'm like, you're not gonna like my shit.
Just like accept it and just do whatever you want.
Yeah, like either you're cool with me playing weird druggy music, or like don't hire
I'm not
me.
familiar with that genre of house.
I mean, you know, like the house and techno, right? It's like
Wink, wink.
yeah, wink. But yeah, like I've had people like, oh, will you play my wedding? Like, no. I think like,
Did you listen to that set? Is this what you want at your wedding?
the most compromise I did was I had a friend who was running like a nonprofit for breast cancer. And he's like, oh, we're doing like a fundraiser, like come play. And they hired 2 DJs for that night. And there was like a hip hop guy playing in the main room or something. And then they had me like by the pool. So I was like, oh, I'm just gonna do what I do, like by the pool.
Yeah.
And did like full like underground, emptied the place out.
Turn that shit into Ibiza.
Yeah, except for like 3 people who like got it. They're like, we get it.
Whoa, what are the odds?
Yeah.
This guy's amazing.
But yeah, that's my you know, compromising or lack thereof story. So I guess like in the time that you've been DJing, like I mean, COVID started a minute ago now, right? Like we're like 2 years in, so you've been DJing for a while as well. Then,
Yes.
You know, are there any sort of standout gigs for you, you know, over that time, and also any like standout shitty gigs?
Yeah, definitely on both ends of the spectrum. I think a couple standout gigs where we were doing the 10th installment of Social Desert, and
Okay.
our collective Jupiter had our own stage there. It was like 320 by 40 like tents like together, and it was like a little mini club. And this was kind of like at a time when like Social Desert was like really ramping up to like an apex of what they've been doing. And I think like, I want to say like 1,500 people came out to the desert.
Whoa.
Yeah, which is kind of ridiculous numbers for like an underground desert like party. But needless to say, like our tent like was just jumping the entire night. Like we had the most people at our stage. It was probably like 300 or 400 people just at our stage. So I felt like I was playing some giant festival. We're just barely started DJing, and like all of our collective like threw down amazing sets, and it was just like one of those really epic nights, you know, that you
Okay.
kind of remember forever.
I mean, I can imagine like, you know, I mean, I've been like a mostly bedroom DJ my whole life, right? So, I mean, getting to play for like that size crowd is like the dream. And so, you know, to be able to do that in such a short time frame and in such an amazing sounding venue, right? Like out in the desert.
Even it was just the speakers like we brought, like it was like a Frankenstein, and it was like B-52s and like Sarah Vegas, and I don't know, but we made it work, and like it just kind of goes to show you what like some desert rats could put together.
Was this the thing, like, did that happen like this fall or something around like September, October?
Like, I don't know. There's like this whole little like COVID underground era, honestly.
Okay.
And like because that's all that was accessible, you know, like all the clubs were shut down. Even like big people were just like trying to like not do anything, you know, keep their label like together. Like it's understandable. And then some people were just like, no, we're gonna keep doing it,
right.
You know, like.
So I guess on the sort of, you know, COVID rave topic, you know, what was it like kind of throwing those during, you know, that time? And like, what kind of like, were you facing pressures? Were like people talking shit? Like what was like the overall environment?
There was definitely like a move from my friends before COVID to a shift to like people who I hang out with now. And like, yeah, those people were the people who I was raving with, just like-minded. I did catch some slack from like some people, but you know, honestly, like I was responsible with like how I was going about it, and you know, I knew where I was going to be and like who I was going to be around, and like assess that. And you know, I was either at home by myself or literally with the people who I was at these parties with. So yeah, we just did it. And I mean, like with everything that was going on in my life, like transitioning and stuff, I'm like, why am I going to stop at like just one component of myself, like, and compromise on another? You know, it just didn't seem to add up. So just kind of went for everything that I wanted, like during like COVID. And if it hurt some people's feelings, like, you know, I'm sorry, that's like their journey.
Right. No, I mean I get it, you know, like, especially now 2 years later, right? It's like no harm, no foul. I mean, certainly while it was happening, I had seen those parties and I was like, oh, I don't know that I want to like be a part of that. But at the same time, you know, I've spoken to other people who, you know, Omar from Techno Fam?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. Because, you know, he threw some parties, you know, during that time too. And, you know, what he had communicated to me was like, you know, it's like the nod. Somebody would come up to him, you know, after every one of those parties, like, I needed that, you know?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
And yeah, I mean, this was a time when, you know, mental health generally was like not at all-time highs, right? Like people locked in their homes, stuck, in a lot of instances, you know, like not making money and just like feeling anxiety over that. And yeah, I can easily see, you know, how something like a desert rave, that's outside, you know, with the crazy system is like just what the doctor ordered, you know, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, like the rave, like the party itself was, you know, a product of like, I feel of something that was much bigger that was happening there. Because this is, I don't know if I'm like being like blowing it out of proportion, but in a sense, it kind of felt like, you know, a small renaissance is going on in the underground. All these like new DJs and collectives just kind of like popped up out of nowhere and like created a new scene. So it's interesting to see like which ones have carried over since like COVID's been lifted, like carrying it into like even the mainstream. Like we started out, you know, in the desert and warehouses, and now, you know, our DJs are playing at clubs and bars around town and like booking festivals. So it just really depends on how far you want to take it. Like something else was so great about like what COVID did for a lot of people was just put them in a position to like really reassess like their lives and what they truly want to do and like how they want their lives path to like go down. So that's just the one my mind took me down.
Yeah. It's definitely like been a common theme on this show with folks who've come on where, you know, out of like a dark time, to your point, like it forced a lot of people to like reevaluate what they want to get out of their lives, and, you know, has put a lot of people that I've met on a, you know, I guess more aligned path with who they are, you know, inside, or, you know, the higher self, however you want to call it. And yeah, it sounds like you're doing that, you know, certainly. And I've mentioned it on the show before, like this project here is kind of born out of COVID, in much the same way. And yeah, it continues to be cool to kind of see, you know, people finding their own path and like living by it. You know, so I guess as a DJ, like what are some of the challenges that, you know, you face personally, whether that's finding new music, finding new gigs, dealing with promoters? Like what are some of the challenges you might not have even thought of would be challenges before you became a DJ?
So prior to DJing, I had I wasn't on social media at all. So I had like a modest, like a very humble 300 followers on my personal account. Not that matters really, like when it comes to the music, but like just trying to kind of brand yourself, I guess. Like you see your friends doing stuff and you're like, okay, maybe I should like brand myself more, create a logo. So it was a lot of learning curve as to like treating myself as an artist as like a business, like shifting out of this somewhat more party oriented mode and like seeing like how big it can become for you if you like allow it and like put work into like different parts of it. And then I think that something I really struggled with too, and like I'm still kind of like working with, is that like during the whole COVID, like I was like transitioning and like doing, my thing, and I can be like in these dark clubs and stuff and like feel confident. Just kind of like in the dark lights and the lasers and stuff, but like as stuff started to shift, like I have to go out in the daylight more, and I'm practically a vampire. Like I live at night, and so I have to like go out and like network in the daylight, feeling uncomfortable or like dysphoric about like my presentation. As I go into like more of like the normie world, so to speak, and just having to kind of like work with that within my own confidence and like just reinforcing, that I am enough,
Right. So you're saying kind of, because of, you're in a dark club and the lasers and there's like,
it was easy to like hide and like blend in the background,
right.
We're all just creatures in the night.
Right.
And like you put me out like on Cahuenga Boulevard in like broad daylight and like all my confidence goes out the window. Like you see me DJ on stage, like a lot of times that could be like so much just like ego or an idea of like who you are as a person. But like, Zoe Fine, like behind Blanc Mamba, like has a lot of like, and she just as many insecurities and like fears and worries as much as the next person,
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And I think rave generally too is also like a much more kind of accepting kind of plur universe. Right. And
that's why I gravitated towards it, honestly.
And then, having to kind of network in the day, like out in the like normie world, it's like a different
energy.
Yeah. So I guess like to that, have you ever encountered kind of resistance in rave, or I hope that it's been nothing but kind of like acceptance and plur for you?
For the most part, yeah, I get a lot of respect from my peers, and I get a lot of love from people who come out and support. But there have been like some times, unfortunately, where even within like the underground,
interesting.
Where like I was assaulted or put in a position like where I felt unsafe. I won't say like which specific party though, but like I was like thrown to the ground after walking away from I don't know, like he thought I was trying to like steal the bathroom line. So I moved to the other bathroom line. He just persisted to antagonize me. Like I'm not out here to start fights with no one. I try to be catty. Like I'm just doing my thing. I try to bring love. And like understanding when I do my DJ parties and stuff, and it just kind of escalated a lot faster and in a direction that I wasn't expecting it to go. So it was unfortunate, but the party, the security and everyone had my back.
Right.
And since that particular event, I've noticed that party just putting more flyers and awareness. Just seeing like a whole culture shift from coming out and just getting fucked up at a party to being a part of a community that embraces each other and like uniting under like a common like love for this music and like how it all makes us feel, we can be ourselves, like, and it's really beautiful to see like music and culture shift, like especially with a newer party like that.
Right. I mean, that's like really disheartening to hear. And I mean, what is encouraging is that it sounds like it was isolated to like one asshole, but it's like,
it's never one asshole.
Wow, sadly sad.
They're out there.
I mean, but like what people like that need to know is that, you know, like rave was born in queer spaces, right? So
Absolutely.
I think there's like a supreme irony that if you're going to be some fucking asshole, like out at a party, like harassing, you know, queer people, that, like you wouldn't be there, but for, you know, those spaces.
The queer community and the Black community made house music and techno music, you know?
So that sucks, but you're saying, you know, for the most part, it is like accepting.
For the most part, yeah. Like a lot of people, like show up with an open heart. Like have so many like people I see regularly now. It's like a big family, you know, that I got to shows.
I guess like as an artist, do you feel that it helps or hurts in terms of, you know, transitioning, or is it just neutral, like no bearing whatsoever?
I mean, I don't know. I can't say like for sure. Like if you ask me who are other like transgender DJs like in the underground specifically that I know of, like I can't really put my finger. If you're out there, hit me up, like at Blanc Mamba _
Right.
Just like look me up, because I actively look for my other trans artists. But in that sense, like yeah, I'm kind of in some ways like the representation. And it's cool because I'll have some like trans girls at the parties come up to me and think like, they're like, wow, it's so cool seeing you like DJ, like being like a focal point, like being transgender, because there isn't that much representation, at least in our immediate scene. So, but I'm looking forward to connecting like with more queer and like trans and like gender non-conforming artists, like how to unite.
Yeah, we need to get you set up with like Octo Octa.
Oh yeah,
Eris Drew.
Big fan of both of those.
Did you go to their show? They were
Board Lord.
Okay, they were here like I want to say like a month ago, like not long ago.
They did a back-to-back with like I think it was like a secret project show. Yeah, I went to that.
You did? Okay. Yeah. Was it good? Because I wanted to go, but I had some other thing.
It was amazing.
Really?
Yeah, the music was just like just every track after track. After track. It was just driving all night. Also, shout out to Heidi Loudon. She's like a super sweetheart and an amazing DJ too.
Yeah. She's part of the Surround crew, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Surround crew definitely throws good parties.
And they brought in like
Honey Dijon, yeah.
Dude, just one of my favorite party from the year specifically.
And they bring in Harvey all the time. You've seen him. But yeah, anyway, yeah, that's like
They know what's up.
Yeah, they know what's up. They know what's up.
Book me.
Yeah, Octo Octa and Eris Drew, you know. Reach out to our girl Blanc Mamba here.
Yeah, yo, I'll sign on. T for T, Love Energy. I got some tracks in the works.
Actually, so on that, do you produce too?
Yeah, actually, I do produce. Actually, have audio engineer background, but I haven't started making house music until recently.
Okay.
But a lot of stuff I did was like ambient soundscapes or music for dance pieces, or there's also just like minor scoring for like films, or video game audio, like sound design type stuff. But this is definitely like a new venture for creating music for me, because I'm used to like having like a 5-piece, 6-piece band,
right?
Like guitars and such.
Got it. And then, you know, like, would you do it on Ableton or like Logic?
Yeah, we're mostly working Ableton.
Okay. Yeah, that's a whole world that I don't know in terms of like engineering or producing, which I guess, you know, like definitely makes me kind of like a dinosaur in terms of like just a DJ. Cause like, I think these days you kind of have to do both, right? In order to kind of make it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on like what making it means to you, you know, cause I have friends who DJ who don't produce, and, it's just like a slightly different vibe, you know, like you are known for creating an atmosphere in a party, and like you're just known for like pulling a crowd and like bringing a certain type of sounds, like totally valid, you know, you're doing your thing. And then but if you want to play like festivals and you want to do like Insomniac events or like Tomorrowland or something, yeah, you got to produce and like get notoriety.
Yeah.
For, like,
yeah. If you want to play like Yuma 10, Coachella, you know? Or something.
Unless you're Paris Hilton. Yeah. Also, honestly, like I would love to go back to back with Paris Hilton. Like I'd be down.
She has like a set from Tomorrowland that you can watch on YouTube, and it's not that bad.
No, I'm like legitimately like I would go back to back with Paris Hilton.
Okay.
She can do whatever she wants. She's like queen.
She's a queen.
Yeah,
I mean, like vibe wise, actually, little known story. For 1 year, she went to the same elementary school as me. And even back then, like they had notoriety. Like they didn't have like a show or anything, but like people knew of like their name.
They just had nicer clothes.
Yeah. But yeah, like the younger sister wasn't very nice. Not very nice.
Oh. Yeah, man, we were all like, just like kind of figuring stuff out.
But yeah, kids are all assholes anyway.
Yeah,
I
fuck
mean,
them.
like certainly I was an asshole at times as a kid. So it is what it is.
Guilty.
So-
That's my little brother.
Yeah, kids. I think kids are just they have a capacity for cruelty that like kind of goes away.
It's kind of admirable, you
Yeah.
know, like, wow. I don't think
Yeah. They're just like their true selves.
yeah, so raw.
But you mentioned something about what kind of success would look like to you. So for you as an artist, what is the ideal kind of setup?
Ideal kind of setup.
Like, would you want to headline an Insomniac show one day? Or
Oh, I mean, like, yeah, of course. Just it's like their production's
Right.
amazing. Like their stages are dope. Like their crowds. It's just like a whole experience. And like growing up with like going to Insomniac events, like yeah, that'd be dope. I think like I don't know. I like really want to play like a really big like art car in Burning Man would be cool.
yeah,
Like Mayan Warrior would be like really I don't know, something special.
that would be legit.
Or like playing at like one of the big camps there, like Opulent Temple. Like that community is just like very dear to my heart.
Have you been?
I've been 2 times, 2017
Awesome.
and 2018.
Okay.
And actually, I'm getting married at this one this year.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Like you already have your tickets?
Well, your girl applied for the ticket aid program, so formerly low income ticket, but like I'm feeling pretty good about my chances of getting that.
Awesome.
And we have like a large group, and even if we don't get it, like we're gonna make it work. Like I feel it,
Well, you score major side note points for going to Burning Man.
The side note bonus round.
Yeah, side note bonus points for Burning Man and name dropping Mayan Warrior and Opulent Temple.
You know what's up.
Yeah, totally. Because like for sure, the last Mayan Warrior that was here is like hands down probably the best party I've ever been to in my life. Did you go to that one?
I don't think I did.
Okay. They were here like in October or something.
No.
And
Probably in the underground.
Yeah.
Man.
well, it keeps getting like their shit keeps getting better. Like because they come. I mean, before COVID, they would come every year, and I would go, and it would be great. But I think their like post-COVID return was particularly awesome.
Nice.
So I guess let's talk about the Burn. How was your experience at the Burn?
It's transformative, honestly. Like, I mean, I feel like you can say so many different things about it because, like, in any given moment, there's like just an infinite number of possibilities.
Yeah.
And I think anyone who like listening to this and has gone to it, like, will know what that means. Like,
Right.
the immediacy of just literally so many different special moments are just waiting at your fingertips, and you just have to follow one to the next, and it's so beautiful. And it's so like you're just so present there. I don't know.
I mean, even just the arrival, right? Like when there's always like a welcoming committee, the first thing they say to you is like, welcome home.
big old hug.
Yeah. A big old hug. You get out, you like roll in the dust.
Consent. Yeah, you get to choose to roll in the dust. They insisted when I went my first time. They're like, you got to get naked and jump in the dust.
Wow.
Like, what? And they're like, just kidding. You could just jump in the dust.
Yeah. I was going to say, I don't remember that naked part.
I was like, I'm in it, when you're in it, be in it. So,
but I remember almost crying, like when I encountered the first welcoming committee, just because of how fucking hard and how much planning it took to get to that moment.
It's all part of the process. Like it's hard for a reason, you know, like I don't think it's not supposed to be easy. And I think a lot of people, I mean, for some people it's easy, but like, I feel bad for the people who come like just on the weekend and just party 3 days straight and just clear out. There's just honestly the most special time at Burning Man takes place like during the day, through like volunteering. Actually, one of my fondest memories from my first Burning Man, I just happened to stumble into it. There's like a skating rink, and you see like throughout the whole week, like there's little slots for all the sizes, and then it's burn night, you know? So the man just lit on fire. Everyone's losing their minds right now. I'm in elevated spirits myself, and I'm just going down to like little skate rink to get my little skate on. And then there's just this chaos. There's just like a pile of skates. Like it took me like 15 minutes to like find a matching pair. So I found myself just like wanting to help everybody who came after me, like get their skates. And I was like organizing the rack. And I look and I see this couple, like this really like super tall guy. He must have been like 6'5" or so, like really wide with his girlfriend. They're just like disappointed. Like, nah, I think it's going to happen. So like wander on over to them. Like, yo, what's up? Like, you guys looking for a skate size? It's like, yeah, don't worry about it. It's like a size 14, you know? Like I jump into the skates, like in 5 minutes. I find like the matching pair, the one pair of 14 skates. Like he had the one, and I was like, I found the other 114. So like him and his girlfriend got to like skate together. And, like we had a nice special moment, and yeah, it's just like little things like that, honestly. Like apart from like the huge sound systems and the parties and like all these like crazy arts, like the community and that connection, I think is like what I try to take to the underground, you know?
Yeah.
Like that sense of giving, you know, and community and civic duty, like what really makes all of this so special.
I dig it. Yeah. You know, like trying to, that's one of the, you know, core themes of Burning Man, right? Is like learning how to apply those principles in the default world.
Yeah. Simulation.
And so I guess how did you actually end up there? Because I always find that that's an interesting story too, in terms of like the decision to go, and then, you know, how you end up going and who you end up going with. I feel like there's always kind of a story around that as well.
I think like the first time I ever heard of Burning Man was from Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah, same.
It was like an
I've
episode.
seen that episode. Yes.
Yeah.
Where like Hal like has his trailer and he's like, get out of my lawn, and they think he's doing like a performance art. Yes.
Like, yeah, they started like applauding him.
Yeah.
And I was like, is this a real place? Like, what are they talking about? You know, like the age of dial-up internet. Like, I was like, yeah. Run the search. There's a whole thing, you know. I didn't really like look it up immediately, but like down the line, as I got into like rave and stuff, I'm like, wasn't there like a cool party Burning Man? Like it's like super secret and like it's super crazy and wild, you know. I want to go to that one, you know. So just did my research without trying to like reveal too much about it to myself. Like I always had this like I wanted to go in as raw as possible, and I finally went. But like,
so like, did you go like solo, or did you have a camp?
I went with my partner Mochi.
Okay.
Like, it was in 2017, and we just went the two of us.
Okay.
We actually didn't even know we were going until 3 weeks before. Like we bought our tickets and like planned everything within those 3 weeks.
Holy shit.
I think I might have like developed 2 ulcers, and like our relationship almost ended 5 times, but like. And that wasn't even like, that was just like the beginning. Like we got all our supplies, and it's the night before, and we're also like both working at the same restaurant too. So like we're planning all this, and we're just in each other's faces. And now we're about to spend a whole week like in each other's faces. So we thought. And we still didn't even have a car. So like our roommate's like losing his mind because there's like all this camping gear and supplies and food and bikes. And like we don't even have a car to get there. I'm on my break like from the restaurant, like see one of the servers coming up, and I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna like, sorry. That's sort of, I don't know if that's not allowed.
No, you can. It's allowed.
Okay, cool.
It's allowed.
Yeah, bitch, what? Yeah, one of the servers was walking up, and I was just like, dude, if I pay you $250, can I borrow your car for a week? He was like, just immediately, deal, like done. Like he needed to pay rent, and he was like desperate to try to get any money. So we took like his Honda. So it was like
Accord. An SUV?
No, it was a Honda Accord coupe.
Wow.
And we smashed everything, all our supplies, our tent, our bikes. We actually came back with 2 extra bikes. And then the car had like an engine leak, so we had to keep filling it up like every 200 miles or so. We had to pour oil in it, but it made it all the way there and back. Like definitely like overweight. Like I said, we brought like the guys next to us gave us these 2 really nice bikes. And I don't know. We're like broke. We're just like, yeah, we can use 2 extra bikes, I guess. So we brought 4 bikes home with us.
Oh man, that's great. And where was your starting point? LA, or where were you driving from? Okay.
From Mid-City.
Okay. So you did like that's like a 10-hour at least.
11 and a half hours.
Yeah.
And then
oh my God.
And then the first year was like 8 hours waiting in line. And then the second year, it took 12 hours to drive there. And then there was a dust storm getting in line, so we had to wait 11 hours.
Yeah, so you know the pain.
But also the pleasure.
Yeah, it's both. I feel like I've talked about it before, but have you ever done ayahuasca?
I haven't. I have not.
But you know of it? The ancient Native American brew?
I've heard tales.
But yeah, I was talking about it. I went to Burning Man with my then girlfriend, and we were kind of dissecting it, and we're saying like, oh, Burning Man is kind of like this extended ayahuasca journey. And you're like, if you know anything about ayahuasca, it's like, it's like amazing kind of divine bliss, but also like you're puking your brains out and like shitting yourself. And it's like those 2 poles, right? But ultimately it's like a rewarding experience. And I feel like Burning Man is much the same way, where like figuratively, you're not shitting your pants, but actually in some instances you are. But like, it's like so difficult.
Happens.
And you fucking hate it.
Be prepared, kids.
Yeah. And then on the flip side, like you love Burning Man. And like you walk away and it's a rewarding experience, but it is that sort of bipolarity of like hating it and loving it at the same time.
I definitely found myself like loving it a lot more. Like, it was a pain in the ass, don't get me wrong, but like it's just the payoff it's so worth it. Yeah, it literally feels like a trip.
Right. I want to say it was equal parts hate and love for me.
Mm-hmm. Everyone has their own experience.
Right, of course.
Have you been more than once? Or
I did the one time.
Just the one and done, or are you gonna go back?
I feel like if I go back, I want to join a camp. So I did it your way the one time, which was just the 2 of us, and like we came in, like we came, we saw, we conquered.
It's kind of rough doing it that way, because you're like, if you don't have anybody to tell you what's what, you're just like, what's going on? Like, it took me like at least like a day and a half to figure out. I just like roll up to a camp and just like put my cup out there and just gonna fill it up with whatever booze I ask.
Oh yeah.
Like, is there like I literally had no schema or like expectation of what to expect.
Right. I think we were kind of the flip, where like we did so much fucking research, like we had months to prepare, but it was like we were over prepared in certain senses, but we're not prepared at all in terms of like the actual like experience. So like, for instance, like I showed up with a Camelback and a cup and all of that stuff, but I never had that shit on me whenever like I needed it. To where like the friends that we did make were like, or the friends that we met up with were like, dude, weren't you the ones that like spent months like packing gear and stuff, and like you never have your water cup?
I mean, no, those other assholes.
yeah. But yeah, so like I definitely want to go for 22, but I haven't found like a family, like a camp that
you're invited to roll with our family.
Okay, yeah, thank
Jupiter
you.
fam, you're also invited if you want to come.
Yeah, Angel.
I'm getting married. I'm getting married there. So
sick. Wait, is Lavenge gonna go to Burning Man?
Yeah.
Okay, has he been before?
He hasn't.
Okay. Oh, that'd be awesome.
For being someone who's like in the underground and stuff, he's pretty normie leaning, He's calling
totally
you out,
lavenge.
You're kind of a normie.
Totally normie leaning. Yeah.
And I'm excited to see how much this trip is gonna like really fuck with your mind.
Yeah.
With love.
With love.
Yeah.
Wait, but so you guys you guys are just going as a big crew, not like as part of a like organized camp thing, though.
Yeah, you know, I wanted to get Jupiter as an official camp, but I felt doing that, it didn't make any sense whatsoever doing that with so many like new burners. So I was like, you guys should like just go and experience it first. Not you should like definitely go and experience it first.
If you were to have a theme camp, what would your theme be?
Like if it was like my child only, it would definitely be a sound camp. But it would also double as like a dance workshop camp because of my background.
Okay.
So like during the day we would do like somatic response. Like if I was doing like one of my dance workshops, I would do like somatic response or partnering, contact improv, like partnering class, just guided like movement, like, you know, just different little, I like to create these little tasks for people to do that kind of gets them out of their comfort zones. And then I'll check in with them and then ask them questions. And then I'll give them like a different parameter for like the next thing and just kind of build off of their experience and just kind of like let them kind of guide where they need to go. And then I would definitely want to have like some kind of like psychedelic performance dance, like a show as opposed to like a workshop. And then of course just like rave all night, you know, parties.
I feel you. Well, let me know when you get that camp going.
Next year, watch out.
The one that I want to, like, I already have a name for it. I'm going to call it the Multiverse Multiplex. And we're going to be a tent that has like theater style, like lounge chairs, and you can come and sit and it'll just be trippy movies all day, every day. And we'll have free popcorn.
Off the top of your head, like what are like the top 5 movies you would show there?
Okay, so like actually mainly like videos. So do you know Alex Gray? He's like a visionary psychedelic artist.
That sounds cool.
He has like this 1 hour collaboration with the DJ Tipper. And there's like a video out there, you can find it on YouTube, but it's like this 1 hour, it blends his crazy art with Tipper's music. So that would be like the one, like the number one where it'd be like, we're going to play this at 8 o'clock in the morning, noon, and 6. We'd have like multiple show times. And then to like fill it out, you know, maybe you throw in Waking Life or like Scanner Darkly. Do you know those movies?
No.
Maybe
You're too deep in it for me, man.
yeah, maybe The Dark Crystal.
Yeah, I fuck with the Dark Crystal.
Yeah.
That one's a trip.
You know, well,
Jim Henson's got some demons.
he does. Well, it's funny because his family, I won't say in what capacity, but I've worked with the company before, and the official line from the company is like, he's never done LSD ever. Like he never touched any drugs.
Was that a question that was brought up?
Like he never touched any drugs in his whole life. Well, like if you go to his museum, like the Jim Henson Museum, they have on display like, this is a commercial that Jim directed back in like 1968 or something. And it's like, dude, it's fucking trippy. And it's like, it's for headache medicine. And like, go search it. It's called Buffrin.
I think Jim was taking the headache medicine.
Yeah, I feel like he was taking a little more than the headache medicine. Everybody pause this video now, open up YouTube and look for Jim Henson Buffrin commercial.
What are you doing, Jim?
And yeah, like super trippy. But yeah, to this day, like, you know, everyone denies that he ever fucked with that, which I don't believe.
What did he say?
Well, I mean, he's dead now. But
Well, when he was, you know.
when he was alive? Yeah, I think he denied it. Like, I think, but you know, I think he was coming up in a time where it was not like cool for him
True.
to say. Especially because, you know, he's like doing like Sesame Street and shit. So
That
he
part.
can't be associated with, you know, those things.
I feel that, yeah, you know.
But yeah, so I guess, how are you going to prepare for tonight's like insanity? Like, do you like playlist? Like, do you go through your tracks and like, you know, put together a playlist, or do you just totally vibe it?
I never know what I'm gonna play until I get up there, honestly.
Really?
Like, I just try to think of like a vibe. I don't try to like, plan like this song after that song, or like, mix this transition, Honestly, I mean, I just like do like a pre-recorded mix and just press play, honestly.
Or
I'm
you
just
will
kidding.
do that? I was like, oh.
No, I'm just playing. Yeah, I just go up there. Like, I might have like a playlist of songs I'm really into at that time. Like, I'm like, oh, this new song like I just got, or like I remember this one track that I used to play all the time. Like, I just put it just to have it in that quick access, because it's in my head, like it's been bopping around. So like there might be a chance I want to put it in there. But I think tonight, like I said, it's like a 90s versus 2000 party. So
Yes, you're gonna like be dropping like Britney remixes and shit, or like what's the vibe you have in store?
yeah, definitely like remixes, like
NSYNC.
maybe. You've inspired me now, actually. The only question is which song.
Yeah, like can you play I don't know that this exists, but I feel like it probably exists. Like the Victor Calderone remix of "Tearing Up My Heart" by NSYNC.
Is that a thing?
I don't know. Let's see if it's a thing. Because Victor Calderone, like big '90s DJ based out of New York.
Okay.
NSYNC was a thing, but he always used
I was
to
like,
do.
are you making this guy?
He always used to do like the remixes of all like the '90s dance, or like the '90s like anthems. Victor Calderone, NSYNC. Tearing Up My Heart. Let's see if it's real.
Maybe some Spice Girls like remixes. That'd be kind of cute.
No, there is no Victor Calderone remix of that. Let's see if he has a remix of NSYNC at all.
Or maybe I'll just hit him with like those 90s house classics. We'll see maybe they like that. It might be two.
Yeah, like, do you record your sets? Can you put it up afterward?
I guess I could, like, you can put like a USB in the other slot and like record it that way. I'm usually too lazy, honestly. Like, I'm just like, yeah, you know what? No, never mind. No.
Yeah, you got to get more stuff out there, because actually I think on your SoundCloud there's only like 1 or 2 mixes, right?
There's 3. No, there's actually 4 mixes. Thank you very much. And they're all very different seasons of me, Like one's a Latigra, one's a Magnum, Blue Steel. I got them all.
Okay.
And they're not one look. Okay. So.
Yeah, so hot right now. You have a derelict one?
I'm working on it. Yeah.
Well, I think with that, we're hitting our time here. So I think we will conclude, but so if you want to like plug any stuff,
yeah, definitely.
Bounce here.
Follow your girl, Blanc Mamba, on Instagram. It's BLANC _2_ Mamba. It's 2 underscores.
That's French for white.
Yeah, everyone calls me Black Mamba, honestly, like every time they announce me. One person even called me DJ Zoe. I don't know, like, you got Hotmail or like Friendster or whatever, just hit me up, yeah.
Hotmail and Friendster, yeah.
Yeah, just call me.
And yeah, shout out to Octa and Eris Drew. Hit up our girl here.
Hit your girl up.
And yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. You can follow me at DecoyNick on Instagram,
or trying to hype you up.
Yeah, or Side Note Media at Side Note Media.
I'll stick to DJ.
And yeah, until next time.
Ciao, ciao.